What's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And today we have a green day in the cryptocurrency market with Bitcoin back above $34,000, XRP up there at 64 cents, and really just the whole board is littered in green with many assets up above 10%. Yesterday's price action was quite climatic with Bitcoin reaching down there to about $28,000, bouncing back up, and well, was that it? Was that good enough to be the bottom? We'll take a closer look at that today. I kind of express what my confidence level is on everything. But at the same time, we're not only going to look at the Bitcoin price chart, we are going to go deeper into the Ripple XRP price chart to try to tell a story of what life has been like from a sentiment perspective for crypto. Because right now we're at a massive swing. There's certain times when it's appropriate to be talking more about sentiment, and it's whenever it's swinged really far one way. When we were up here at the top, the sentiment was swung really far to where everybody had these laser eyes on their profiles, right? Now the sentiment is swung so far in one direction, you can't post anything on Twitter, you can't post anything on YouTube without dozens of people saying, just say that we're in a bear market. Because, well, I think it's has a lot to do with people, buying local tops, selling local bottoms, and they just don't want to get wrong-footed a second time. But my conviction remains the same, that I think this market is going to continue to go higher. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people, and I think the whole market is going to set new all-time highs. Specifically, this total market cap of all of crypto, as this was something we've been talking about for a long time, how this rally prior to capitulation on many assets was very important, where there's this tiny rally prior to Bitcoin capitulating, and to look for a 4.236 extension based on that rally, and for the market cap to completely pinpoint and nail it. But in all the examples we have of where that occurred, where large knockback took place right there, the market, or whatever asset we were looking at, went on to set additional new highs and had one final big surge before the bull run was all over. And I'm in that camp of believing that that's the case that we're in right now, that this market will recover and still set new highs. But the big question comes from a lot of people is, how can we do that if we just keep going lower? And one thing I keep pointing to is how we've had this big fallback, and we've just had this lower consolidation with no real retracement rallies to come in and, set up an ABC structure to maybe indicate that we were going to go much lower. If you're wanting for me to say that it's a bear market, here's pretty much what you would have needed to get out of me. You'd have had to see this market retrace back up to here, have a large fall down here, and then retrace back up here a second time. That would have been an ABC structure. That would have been very concerning. I'd be sitting here screaming, danger, danger, danger. But that's not the setup that we have going on in here. And the point at which this total market cap has reached, this 4.236 extension based on the rally prior to capitulating, well, all the examples that we have to look at for that indicate that the market goes even higher beyond that. But have we ever seen examples of a market doing something like this, where it comes down low, has this low consolidation, sets a new low down below that one right there, and then magically just goes on to start rampaging into bull market? Do we have any examples of that ever happening? One of the things I've been pointing to is how XRP did exactly that in the middle of its bull run back in early 2017 with that lower consolidation. Look at this new little low that got placed right below there, and then going on to completely crush it much higher. And that throughout all of crypto, we have many setups that are looking like this for a lot of the altcoins that have showed bullishness. But here we are, big rapid fall, low consolidation, and this new low right in here, right? And throughout crypto, I can find several other examples of things like that happening as well, and how you could see how this new little low, you have this rapid fall down, rolling back up to this price level in here to go on to set a new little low, but not really able to clear above here before turning on itself to head down, just like what we have here in the total market cap, right? You have this big fall, this initial short closing, and then still not able to get above right over here before rolling over, just like we see in here, right? Short closing and then not able to get above the price level, rolling over. But you may be wondering, what chart am I looking at right in here? And a lot of times I've told stories of what it was like being in the 2017 bull run, and how before XRP ended up surging to the upside, the market was very negative. I've told that story so many times on this YouTube channel that there was no hope, no optimism, people throwing in the towel, tons of infighting. It was the darkest time of XRP prior to the bull run taking off. And you know when that moment was? That was this. That was this moment right here, before this ended up happening in the XRP price chart, where it just kept going and going and going. But this is what we had to deal with right before that moment happening, where there was this rapid sell-off that took place and then just low consolidation taking place down there at the bottom before setting one more new low. Just like what happened in the one prior to it, in the rally that happened back in May. Low consolidation, this new little low getting put in, and then off and away it went. In both circumstances of when we had the market rally euphorically afterwards, this is the setup that we did right before it did it. Both times for XRP. And we see these types of setups happening right here on all types of assets. I was looking, I know a lot of people are always about Zcash, Dash, all of them. Yeah, I'm looking at all of them. They've all got that same type of setup happening. And the thing was, when this was happening, Bitcoin was already above $10,000. Now, to put that into context, way back over here, when this top was set back here in May, Bitcoin was like $2,000. So XRP had fallen, gone sideways for a long time. Meanwhile, Bitcoin went on a massive bull run and was already at like $11,000 when all this started happening. Bitcoin had a knockback, XRP knocked back with it. And then as you can see, XRP never really broke out and went crazy until December 12th, which was right here when Bitcoin was $16,000. But that when we saw this moment happen, I've talked about this story so many times of how negative retail investors were at that time, which is what we're seeing right now. They were just super euphoric 2 months ago. Now they're super pessimistic right now. That's exactly what happened right in here. And that I always tell the story of how before the XRP bull run started, it was just caught people blindsided because from a sentiment perspective, no one would have ever imagined that's what was next. Bitcoin was already up there at $16,000. A lot of the other Ethereum was already really high up as well. And yet here we are down here making this type of move right in here, just like we're seeing happening right now throughout all of the cryptocurrency market. And we're seeing parallels happening here, like for Litecoin smashing into its all-time high and doing that similar structure setup that we saw there in XRP before it then went on to rampage through its all-time high, which is what we've been pointing to right over here, right when XRP smashed into its all-time high, making that setup right in there where it rapid fall, low consolidation, slightly new lower low, and then on its way it went. We're seeing that same thing happening over here on Litecoin. And so to say that we're going into a bear market requires ignoring a lot of different things that happen. One, that we talked about the rally prior to capitulation and reaching out to the 4.236 extension, right? You have to say two different things on that. One, if you're one of the people in the comments section who are saying you're such a dummy, you don't know what you're talking about, we're going into a bear market. Well, then you have to at least give me credit and say, man, that's incredible that you were able to figure out that we would use this rally prior to capitulation and it would pinpoint nail that price level. That's incredible that you were able to figure that out, blockchain backer, and that it hit that with complete precision. However, you're a complete dummy. You don't know what you're doing. And now it's going to go down to nothing and we're deep into a bear market. But the reality is, in order for something like this to happen, and in the examples that we've shown, unfortunately, we've talked about this tremendously before it ever happened, is that it would indicate that it would eventually break through it and set new highs. That's what all the examples show that we have showing this occurring. And fortunately, we talked about this exact style of thing occurring way before it ever happened. So it's not something that was made up in hindsight. It was something discussed way ahead of time. And not only did it happen, it precision happened. And for it to happen so incredibly precise, I have to stick with the bullish theory. I don't have a choice. It nailed it so perfectly. And in all the examples, it goes higher than that. But we knew that would be an incredible level. So to say it's a bear market would have to be to credit that this was right, but also discredit and say that it means that it's actually rejecting. But in every example we have, it says it goes higher. We also have to ignore that Bitcoin didn't reach out to a 4.236 extension. We have to ignore that the total market cap did not reach out to a 4.236 extension. We have to ignore that many assets slammed into their all-time highs and are doing the exact same setups that XRP did after it slammed into its all-time highs with this lower consolidation. We have to ignore all of that as well and just say we're going into a bear market. And unfortunately, for the people who keep finding themselves getting caught on the wrong end by buying tops and selling bottoms, I'm not going to get on the same page as you. And one of the things I do on my channel is you always hear me kind of, not like intentionally, but, kind of, is that I talk trash about a specific group, even though I'm in that group. I always talk trash about the retail investor group, which is funny because I'm a retail investor and everybody who listens to my channel is a retail investor. But the reality is the game that we all play is that it's retail investors versus hedge funds and major companies. What's the difference between the groups? The hedge funds are large groups of people with lots of computers and accesses to lots of data. They have focus groups, they have meetings, they have discussions, and they outweigh analysis and they discuss it and weigh out pros and cons and then make educated, non biased, non emotional decisions. Meanwhile, retail investors have access to very limited amounts of data and are highly emotional. And they also like to operate in groups and find safety in large numbers. And I have learned that the mindset that I have to always have is to be polar opposite emotionally of what the chart is. The chart right now is very pessimistic and negative. I have to be the opposite. I have to be bullish and optimistic. And I also have to be the opposite of what the retail investor group is. And I always try to communicate on my channel what the retail investor group is. Because if I want to win, I feel I need to be positioned on the same side as where the smart money is, where the companies having the meetings are having and making non-emotional, non-biased opinions and decisions, and make sure I'm getting on the same side as them, because you know who's going to win. It's going to be them. The retail investor group, the herd, is going to get taken to the slaughterhouse. So where is the herd always going is where I always have to keep my eyes on. If the herd is putting a bunch of laser eyes and diamond hands on their profiles, I have to be worried. If the herd is screaming, just admit that we're in a bear market, I have to do the opposite of that and say, nope, you're wrong, man. You're going to get shocked. But it's more than just that, right? Of course, it comes down to the technicals of the charts. And when we look at this like total market cap, like we're looking at the index of all of crypto, right? We could see the most pinpoint precision accurate thing happening here with an index of crypto. It's phenomenal. But whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, I have no choice but to say we've seen this movie play out before. And every time the movie plays and we have that and then that, we get that. And so while times are tough right now and all that stuff, right, it's just about, for me, it's just about sitting through this moment. And that even though we are having a green day today, history does show when you break these supports and you're back testing them, it can be volatile underneath them for a little while. And I think that's possible too. But that we've seen these types of things play out many times before. We know where the total market cap is. We know Bitcoin hasn't reached the extension. We know there's several altcoins out there that have slammed into their all-time highs, and we're getting this same setup throughout the market, and that we have the same sentiment happening, just like we had happened last time before things went euphorically crazy. And we know that Bitcoin was very high when this was happening back here for XRP. So it's very difficult for me to consider moving into that bear market mindset, regardless of a large pullback, due to being in this market for as long as I have. I've been in it since early 2017, ridden through all that, ridden through the whole bear market, gotten to here, forecasted Bitcoin to get to these prices, forecasted rally prior to the capitulation of Bitcoin to reach the 4.236 extension. We hit it. All of these things would have to unfold, and then it all just comes up short and we go into some type of bear market. I don't believe it. And I think it's far more likely we're seeing that moment of complete throwing in the towel right before the magic happens, just like what happened in late 2017. So great to see some green on the board today. Might still have to be working out this lower level first before we can get that first big pop back up, confirming us getting out of there. But I wanted to show examples of exactly what had happened, what sentiment was like back in 2017, because I haven't told that story in a while, but I've told that story a lot on this channel, that before things went crazy, before things went wild, there was this big sell-off. It looked just like this right before it happened. Everybody was at each other's throats. It was super negative, super pessimistic. Nobody was holding hands and singing Kumbaya at the time. And Bitcoin was really, really high at that time when it happened. And so was Ethereum. So I've seen this movie play out before. Great to see some green today, but I'm really waiting for a much bigger pop to come to confirm some more stuff. But otherwise, it's great to see some green today and not see this thing free falling, because out of the last 7 out of the last 8 days we've had red. That's enough to just drive people mad. And I think the one green day we did have, it was like a 0.25% green. It was very minimal green. So nice to see a nice little jump today. But all right, we'll get through this moment. We'll see if we can get anything more today. And if not, we can kind of dissect it tomorrow. But I hope that you guys are doing okay. I hope that you're enjoying today and it can give a little bit of breathing room. But all right, I'll wrap this one up. If you guys would like, of course, you could check out my website. That's bcbacker.com. This is my course where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the different altcoin market cycles, tying them all together to show how those alt seasons have worked in the past. Tons of talking about that rally prior to capitulation 4.236 stuff. I talk about my personal exit plans, mathematics, percentages, teach you how to set up your own charts and indicators within TradingView and how you can set up your own charts and do your own charting. And you can check all of this out over here on bcbacker.com. You could follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.